Okay, today we were talking about linear inequalities, so let's work through the notes that we did today. So we are going to look at two different things with linear inequalities. We are going to solve them and we are going to graph them. So let's take a look at number one. This is on page 20, I believe, in your books. No, 18. 18, then we'll go on to 20. So let's look at A. So we have negative 3 times 2x plus 2 is less than 10. Okay, now remember the direction that the inequality symbol goes is very important, right? So just like when we were solving our multi-step equations, we can do the exact same thing with our inequalities. We are going to distribute with our parentheses. So negative 3 times 2x to get negative 6x, negative 3 times 2 to give us negative 6, and we still have the less than 10. Please make sure that you are writing the inequality symbols as you're going to each step. It's going to be very important. So now let's go on to our next step. Let's move our constant term over. So let's add our 6. Gives us a negative 6x is less than 16. And then our last step is going to be to divide by a negative 6. And the most important thing that happens here is because we are dividing by a negative number, the sign of our inequality is going to change directions. So originally it was a less than symbol, now it is a greater than symbol. And we reduce our fraction of 16 over negative 6 to negative 8 over 3. So one of the most important things with solving with inequalities is that when you divide or multiply by a negative number, you have to flip the direction of your inequality symbol. Now when we graph this, it's very simple. We do a line. We put a tick mark like we would on a number line. We write the number that we got for our answer, in our case negative 8/3, and then we have to determine, is it going to be an open circle or a closed circle? Because this inequality just says greater than, it doesn't have an equals to sign underneath. Again, just greater than, it's going to be an open circle. If it said less than, it would also be an open circle. And then we're going to go in the direction that this arrow is pointing. This arrow is pointing to the right for greater than, so we're going to go to the right and put our arrow. And that is how we graph it. Okay? So let's do the same thing with part B. Okay? I will do part B over here. So with part B, we have 2 times 4 minus 2x is greater than 1. So we're going to do We're going to do the same steps, same process here. Let's distribute. Gives us 8 minus 4x is greater than 1. Let's subtract our constant term. Subtract the 8. Gives us negative 4x is greater than negative 7. Let's then divide by a negative 4. And because we're dividing by a negative number, let's automatically switch our inequality symbol. And then those negatives are going to cancel out to leave us with just an answer of 7 over 4. And then we can do our graph, put a tick mark for 7/4, open circle because it's strictly less than, and we're going to go to the left. Okay. So that's solving an inequality and graphing the solution. That's with a variable on just one side of the inequality. Let's do one on question 2 where it's on both sides. So when we look at number 2 here, I'm going to rewrite it. 2x minus 5 is less than 5x minus 22. We want our variable to be on the left side, so let's subtract our 5x. The less than symbol still changes. We have not divided or multiplied by a negative. 2x minus 5x is negative 3x. We still have the minus 5. We still have the minus 22. Now it's 2 steps. Let's add our 5 to get rid of our constant term. Gives us negative 3x is less than negative 17. Let's divide by our negative 3. And because we divided by a negative, let's switch our sign. So we have x is now greater than, and these negatives cancel out to give us 17 over 3. We can make our line with 17 over 3. Open circle. Greater than tells us we're going to the right because the arrow is pointing to the right. Now, we also have situations just like we did last week with solving equations where we can have no solution or infinite solution. So let's take a look at question 3. Let's look at part A. Negative 2 times 4x minus 2 is less than negative 8x plus 4. Let's distribute on the left side to give us negative 8x plus 4 is less than negative 8x plus 4. Let's move our variables to the left, so we're going to add the 8x to both sides. That cancels out our 8x's on both sides to leave us with 4 is less than 4. And this is where we check to see, is this a true statement or is it false? And because 4 is not less than 4, we say this is false, which means we have no solution. Now, likewise, if we do part B, negative 6x minus 5 less than negative 3 times 2x plus 1, and we distribute on the right-hand side, negative 6x minus 5 is less than negative 6x minus 3. We add our 6x from the right side to go to the left. Cancels out our 6x's, leaves us with negative 5 is less than negative 3. This is a true statement. And a true statement tells us we have infinite solutions, which you could also see written as all real numbers. Those are the same thing. So we haven't discussed that yet, but if you see on your homework something that says all real numbers, know that that is what they mean is infinite solutions. Okay? Let's do a couple more here. We're going to go over to page 20. Let's just look at, say, number 6 and number 8. Let's look at both of those. So number 6, I'll write it up here. Negative 4x is greater than or equal to 20. We are going to divide by negative 4, which automatically means we're going to switch our sign. And 20 divided by negative 4 is negative 5. That tells us our graph is going to be at negative 5, and it's going to be a closed circle because it has the equals sign going to the left. Okay. And actually, let's look at number 7 instead of number 8. So let's look at number 7. I'm going to rewrite it down here. So we have 8 less than or equal to 4 times, I think it was a -4, yep, -4 and x minus 1, okay. -4 and x minus 1. There are 2 ways for us to solve it. I'm going to show you both, okay. I'm going to assume that most people will see this and want to distribute, so let's do that. Okay, and now at this point you can do one of 2 things, and that's why I'm going to write this in 2 ways. Some people will look at this and say, well, let me move the 4 over because I already have my x by itself. So if we do that, we get 4 is less than or equal to -4x, and then we can divide by -4, which means we're going to flip our sign and get -1 is greater than or equal to x. The problem with this is that it's not written as x symbol number. So what we have to do is we have to flip everything. We have to flip our x and -1, and we have to flip the sign back, okay? Because -1 is greater than or equal to x is the same thing as x is less than or equal to -1. Okay, so you can solve it with your variable on the right, but you have to remember to flip your inequality, everything within the inequality at the end. The other way that you could do this is you could move your variable to the left at this starting point. So we could add a 4x to both sides to get 8 plus 4x is less than or equal to 4, and then solve our 2-step equation. Subtract 8, get 4x is less than or equal to -4, and then divide by +4 to get x is less than or equal to -1. Again, both answers ended up being the same. It just depended on which side was our variable on at the beginning of when we were solving our multi-step problem, okay? So both are correct. You just have to remember on this version over here to flip at the end to get your x on the left-hand side. So I hope that that helps. Use this video in order to help you with your homework. If you have any questions, email me, let me know. And yeah.